There are seriously not enough good things to say about this show, and it does not get the credit that it deserves. I'm telling you guys, watch this show. You will not be disappointed. Hey guys, it's Shauna Nana, and thank you so much for tuning in to my second video here on my second channel. And as promised, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite anime shows. So as you guys can tell from the title, we are going to be talking about Hell Girl, also known in Japanese as Jigokura Shoujori. I understand some of you guys may have clicked on this out of curiosity and may have never watched or heard of this show before, but don't worry, I will not be giving away everything about this show in this video. This video is meant to entice you and hopefully just pique your curiosity so that you guys can tune in and actually want to watch the show. So don't worry, I'm not going to be giving away a ton of spoilers. Alright, so with that being said, let's get it.
Oh, damned soul wallowing in your sin. Perhaps it is time to die.
This show in its entirety actually features 78 episodes, but for the sake of this video, we're only going to talk about season 1, and so we're going to stick to that first 26 episodes. And to me, that's actually not bad. That's about the standard amount of episodes per anime season. So this show actually debuted October 4th, 2005, but the show was dubbed by Funimation in 2007. I didn't watch the show until 2009. When I first watched the show, I actually did watch it in dub, but don't kill me guys, I don't really participate in the sub and dub war, although I do understand why sub can be better. Sometimes the voice actors just get everything perfectly that first time before it translates over, so I definitely understand, but I will say the show holds up so well even in dub. I was very impressed because even though I did watch it in dub the first time, I did go back and watch it in sub and I still enjoyed both. And for those of you guys who are my veteran anime watchers, I'm sure some of you guys understand when shows are dubbed, sometimes they dumb down the dialogue. And although the show does use some alternate wording, it doesn't really dumb it down. I really like the dialogue of the show. It was written so well. It doesn't matter if you watch that in sub or dub, you don't lose that in the show.
You will never know the joys of heaven. You will be left to wander through a world made of pain and agony, there to remain for all of eternity.
So this show is kind of on the cusp of like a horror drama, or I guess you could say it could be both. I'm actually a comedy anime kind of person, but I still thoroughly enjoyed this show. It was such a great watch, and it still made it onto my top 3 favorite animes. So like I said guys, this show is one of my absolute favorites, and this is actually one of the first anime shows that I actually own in its entirety. My fiance actually bought me the whole first season a few years ago for Christmas, and I was so excited to own these so that way I can always just pop them in and watch them on my downtime or when the internet's acting up. This is the entire first season, just in case you guys are interested, because this show has multiple seasons, so many episodes. I do want to share with you guys the volumes of the first season. For those of you guys who are interested in all 6 volume names, they'll be listed below in the description box, as well as all 26 episode titles. So this is the complete 26 episodes of the first season right here. So just in case you guys are interested and you want to start watching them, or you're interested in purchasing them, they have so many different volumes, so I just want to make sure you know what volume 1 through 6 is so that you're on the right track. This show features one of the best soundtracks, if not the best soundtrack of any anime that I've ever watched. And not just intro and outro, but the actual music for the climax, its own theme music during the show, is beautiful. And I've also noticed over the years that it's kind of been used a lot. It's definitely been sampled, and I can give you guys a few examples.
looking at the clock. It's about that time. Can I introduce myself?
Neighbors don't need no favors, them ends don't need no friends. Get me? Look. Look. Listen.
So as a diehard fan of the show, I definitely noticed when I first heard those songs and I was like, oh, they think they slick. That's from Hell Girl, you did not make that. But I can understand why you'd want to use a soundtrack this good as your influence for your music. Even though this show first made its debut in 2004, the animation today is still absolutely stunning. Everything looks so nice. It has that crisp, clean, beautiful look to it when you watch it, and still holds up to this day. So I feel like even if you're a Gen Z and you like the cleanness of My Hero and that type of animation, you may still also enjoy this show as well. It's just done so beautifully, and like I said, it holds up through time. It just has that classic beauty in an anime that I really enjoy. And as an artist myself, I really like to pay attention to detail, and this anime makes it so easy to enjoy all of those little things in the background. So this show's main character is Emma, and she has such an iconic look, and I feel like even shows nowadays definitely borrow some of that from her, or at least were influenced by her appearance. So there's too many shows to mention, but just to name a couple, for example, Akame from Akame ga Kill, I feel like looks very similar. It might not have been directly influenced, but when I watched it, I could not help but notice the resemblance. And of course, this happens in a lot of anime, could just be the style. Also, in the very popular show Kakeguri, there is Yumiko, and she resembles Hellgirl a lot to me, and she's even got those piercing red eyes that Hellgirl has in the show. Just like I said, I could not help but to compare the two. This show kind of has something a little bit for everybody. Even though it is a more serious show, it's so relatable and you can put yourself in all the characters' shoes. And so I want to talk briefly about what the show is about without giving everything away. But the show itself, the way that it's created, it makes it so easy to do so. So let me show you guys what I mean. I actually want to explain the storyline a little bit to you guys, and you could tell me in the comments maybe if this is something that you're actually interested in watching. What I like about this show is you don't get bored quickly because each episode hosts different characters. And that's something I hadn't seen, at least at that point in anime, and I don't feel like I've seen since. And so it gives you something new to look forward to every time. So each episode tells a different story. So each protagonist seems to be plagued by typically another person who's just making their life a living hell. Whether that person is stalking them or bullying them, it usually causes the protagonist some kind of grief, and they are just absolutely miserable. So the protagonist ends up hearing at some point about Hellgirl or Hell Correspondence.
What if the Hell Correspondence? You mean that website where you type someone's name in at midnight and they'll take revenge on that person for you? Yeah, that's it. I have this friend who knows this girl from cram school, and she said this girl actually tried it out.
So after they access Hell Correspondence, usually Hellgirl gets back to them, whether it's email, their cell phone. Hellgirl, her actual name is Emma in the show, and when the protagonist meets her, she explains to them that she can basically ferry their tormentor to hell.
My name is I. You've summoned me. I want to be avenged.
So the protagonist ends up telling their story to Emma, and she feels for them and she hands them a doll. So there's a black doll with a red string around its neck. She tells the protagonist if they pull the red string from the doll's neck that she will exact the revenge. She cannot do anything for them until they do that. So once they pull that red thread, it binds the protagonist into a covenant with Emma. Naturally, the person is definitely anxious and ready to pull the thread, but she then tells them, but you'll have to deliver on your end of the bargain. There always has to be a price. Even though this person is going through a miserable time in their life or someone else is causing them to suffer, but the twist is, once that character dies, they will go to hell too. So they can live their life peacefully as long as they're on earth, but right after that, because they sent someone to hell, they will also have to go to hell too. She sometimes even gives the protagonist a taste of what hell feels like. Sometimes that's not enough to deter the character. So of course, there is so many possibilities with this kind of storyline, with somebody going through something terrible. Would they pull the string? What would make them pull the string? How long do they wait? Do they actually go through with it? And that's why you have to watch this show, because each episode, like I said, hosts a different set of characters with different sets of issues. Sometimes you may relate and you pull the string, and then other times you're like, oh no, don't pull the string, you're so young, you have your whole life ahead of you, things could change. Some of these protagonists feel like they have no other option but to do so, and some of these situations that these protagonists find themselves in are absolutely crazy, but it's so worth watching, so I don't want to give everything away. But once the protagonist does actually pull the string, Ayama goes ahead and she puts on a kimono and she takes a fiery chariot over to the antagonist, and she actually kind of tortures them for a little bit. So whatever they put the protagonist through, they kind of get a little bit of revenge, and Ayama and her group torture the antagonist a little bit. And before she takes them to hell, she tries to get them to confess, and like I said, you'll just have to watch. And so they are taken to hell, and she does this in just the coolest way. Like I said, she tortures them for a little bit first, and then she ferries them to hell herself personally.
This is vengeance. So I'm to ferry you to hell.
And it is such a good show. Of course, like I said, the main character has to deliver on their end of the bargain, so they are marked with a symbol on their chest for the rest of their life, for a reminder that every time they look down or look into the mirror, that they will also go to hell when they die. So at the end of the show, a candle is lit with their name on it, and it is put to the back with lots of other candles for all the other people who are tormented, who will also go to hell when they die. And once their candle completely burns out, then that's when she'll go and take them to hell. So this show sounds nuts, but it is so good. At some point during the show, there will be reoccurring characters, but I don't want to give anything away. Like I said, just want to pique your interest so that you'll go watch the show, but it is so beautifully done. So this show is actually so popular during its run that it earned itself a live action adaptation. So if you're interested in seeing that, I'm pretty sure you can watch that as well. I'm not a live action kind of person. I feel like the anime does its job. So this show is just a timeless classic for generations to enjoy. I definitely enjoyed it when I was in high school, and I feel like Gen Z and these new anime watchers will enjoy it too. If you're an anime fan, and it's totally worth it, so I would give it a try. So I would recommend watching it in dub. That way, if you need to multitask, walk away, or do anything, you don't miss important details of the show. The script of the show is just so well done, so you don't want to miss anything. But hopefully that's enough to intrigue your interest, and if you guys do watch it, let me know what you think about it, or if you have seen it, let me know what you think about in the comments, and I will see you guys in my very next video. My links are below, my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure you guys check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my very next upload. Bye!
あなたの恨み晴らします。いつだって